Hey, this is B-Dub, and welcome to a new episode of Clearing Out My Head. People online are debating the things everyone just pretends to enjoy, and somehow other people's kids was not the most popular answer. Here are some of the best response. Number 1, LinkedIn. One person said LinkedIn is the adult career version of those dumb discussion boards you had to do in college. Everyone on that site acts like they want to participate on LinkedIn, but everyone knows it's bullshit. I refused to participate in it and still got hired. Truthfully, I disagree with this person because I like LinkedIn. It's one of the few social media platforms I can actually tolerate. Number 2, high heels. One person said, they look great, but God, my feet. Hey, I don't wear them, so no comment here. Number 3, family Christmas and Thanksgiving gatherings. One person said, I am fortunate to have a wonderful family with no embarrassing relatives, but it is exhausting to pretend to be in a good mood and have forced holiday cheer for several hours. I agree with this person, but our holiday gatherings aren't as bad or as big as they used to be. Now it's just my wife, daughters, parents, and sister. Very small, with us mainly hosting except for Christmas and New Year's when we go to my parents' house. Number 4, a lot of mobile games and mobile player games. One person said especially that people have convinced themselves they're enjoying it when really it's just become a habit. Some games are so good at getting people into a habit loop. I'm not excluding myself here. I have one game that I know I don't really enjoy anymore, but sunk cost and habit keep me logging on every day, even if my total playtime is down. Another person said, I was playing a random game once, luckily didn't spend any money on it, but my husband was like, so what do you like about that game? Just trying to make conversation, and I was like, oh, I don't really like it, and when I said that, I realized it was true and stopped playing. Now, I did download it again about a year later and played for a little while until the, oh wait, this isn't really fun feeling hit again. It's funny, I do have these mobile games that I do play on my tablet daily, and sometimes it's not even a game that I play. I download a puzzle app that I do because, I've always loved jigsaw puzzles. Number 5, edible arrangements. One person said, fruit is good, but edible arrangements either have to be eaten quickly, taken apart to be stored in the fridge, or thrown away. Yeah, I'm not really a big edible arrangement person, but I do agree with this person. I feel if you get one of these arrangements, it is that whatever you don't eat is either going to have to be refrigerated or thrown in the garbage. Number 6, cold plunges in ice. One person said, I turn the shower as cold as it will get before I get out of the shower, and I hate every second of it. I do feel like it has good benefits, but I sure do not enjoy it. I think this might be suited more for athletes and not regular people. Number 7, for online dating at least, hiking as a first date. One person said a dinner, movie, or bar is an easy outing, whereas a hike is a commitment that can take much of the day. Just driving to a trail can take an hour plus, depending on where you live. I can see this as a first date to get to know one another, but at the same time, you could just go for a walk at the park. That would work just as well. Number 8, running. One person said, the only time I had fun running was when I was finally able to run like a 10K comfortably. That was pretty nice. It's a shame I decided not to keep doing it. I have to begin from zero again, which is shit. Truthfully, I've never been a runner and I never will be. I love to walk and I prefer to do that over anything else cardio-wise. Number 9, crowded events with hard to get and expensive crappy beer. As I've gotten older, and especially with my stomach issues now, my interest in going to events, crowded or not, has decreased a lot. Number 10, IPAs. One person said, you guys in the mood for a cool glass of bread? Another person said, thankful the IPA's arm race is pretty much over in terms of everyone competing to brew the hoppiest beer possible. Now it's more about how high of an alcohol content you can get. I don't mind IPAs. It's nice to have choices. Now, this doesn't mean that I like all of them, but I do enjoy certain ones if they are available at my favorite drinking establishment. Number 11, the TV show The Office. One person said, it's okay and all, I just don't think it deserves the cult status it has. Some people have to be faking their enthusiasm for fear of being ostracized from their social groups. Another person said, I 100% agree with you. I think The Office has a lot of cringe moments that people can't handle. I know as someone who likes the show, sometimes it can be hard to watch because of them. Plus, you must remember that there are two versions of this show, the original UK version and the US version. So either you're a fan or you're not. Number 12, small talk. One person said, I understand the need for it, but some people just can't get past it, so you end up having to engage in superficial things. As an introvert, I seek to understand others on a deeper level. In a way, small talks are oftentimes closer to interrogations rather than conversations. I understand what this person is saying, but if you don't want to talk to people, just let them know that you don't feel like sharing now. That may sound rude, but you have to be honest with people. Number 13, kombucha. One person said, here, have some vinegar soda. I wasn't really sure what this is. I had to Google it, and if this is the correct item, it said that it is a fermented, lightly fizzed sweetened black tea, thought to have originated in China, where it's traditional. Like I said, I haven't heard of it, so I don't know what to tell you. Number 14, obnoxious over-singing in television talent shows. Can we thank Mariah Carey and Christina Aguilera for this? Yes, we can, folks. Number 15, voluntarily waking up at 5 a.m. One person said, old people disagree. Well, my sleep schedule is so screwed up because of my work schedule. I wake up at all hours of the night. Simply, I normally wake up for work at 1:30 in the morning. On my days off, I sometimes wake up early too. Number 16, League of Legends. One person said, I've never encountered a more toxic fandom. There's no way those people are actually having fun. I've never played it, so I don't know. Number 17, TikTok. One person said, I'm 29 and I simply don't get it. Another person said, I'm 25 and the same. I can open the app and watch for like 10 minutes before I just get bored or angry at something I saw and close it. There is just better shit to do. I'm 50 and don't have it. Unfortunately, I get it, and that's why I don't have it. Number 18, gender reveal parties. Of course, they're talking about those who survive gender reveal parties. One person said, I personally do not pretend to like these because I have to clean up after them and I'm angry. I've never been to a gender reveal party, but have seen a lot of them online. And I see the point in them. They are creative, but are they necessary? The jury's still out over here. Finally, number 19, Twitter or X or whatever they want to call it. One person said, I absolutely agree. Twitter has become a cesspool of outrage. I can't imagine anyone actually enjoying it. It's more of a community water cooler where everybody goes to publicly rage about something. I've noticed it too, but it's not just on Twitter. It seems to be on most social media. Like I have always said, if I didn't have a brand, I probably wouldn't be on social media as much as I am. Not only that, but folks, just because it's on social media doesn't always mean that it's true. Sometimes you just must take it with a grain of salt. Overall, most of these responses to these things seem like cases where someone doesn't like something mainstream or trendy and is trying to argue that it's impossible that so many others like it. Some other better examples could be kale, extremely spicy stuff like Carolina Reapers, neighbors, influencers using corporate phrases like manage client expectations and circle back, and people just in general. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of Clearing Out My Head. Don't forget you can listen to Clearing Out My Head on all major podcasting platforms. Also, you can check out my podcast page on Spotify where you can listen to past episodes, check out my social media links, or leave me a message. But until next time, this is B-Dub. Thanks for listening, and I hope you will join me next time as I continue with Clearing Out My Head.
Are we finished?
Done. So what, that means the show's over?
Yep.
It's over. Over.
Goodbye.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Goodbye.